This is part 2 of the wrap-up, and for this one, I checked back on the first one, and I noticed the audio from me was really quiet, so I apologize for that. I tried to finagle with the audio to boost it. Hopefully you won't even have to watch the first one. I guess I'll try and cover the, what I did in the first one, in this, just looking for audio settings, and it doesn't look like there are any. Okay, well, I boosted the microphone. Let me turn the gain down a bit up here, so you don't get a ton of reverb. So I'll just delete the first video and cover what I want to say in this one. Hopefully the audio is better in this. Yep, this is the end of the journey. It's been a nice, interesting, long one. So if I came across as negative during the updates, no, that's not how I feel about the game. I love the game. But with the updates, I really wanted to portray... I mean, it wasn't entirely a narrative, it was partially true, but I wanted to portray a little bit of a narrative someone lived in his mind.
Get ready, Zemnis.
Over
it all ends here.
Just due to sheer failure all the time. Which I didn't alter stats, I guess a gray hair stat. But this is one of my favorite games of all time.
Have led you to obliteration.
I adore it.
Perhaps it doesn't pay to be too loyal to one's heart.
It's really one of the only things I've ever felt nostalgic about.
I will have to be sure and remember
I think I'm a little too young to feel nostalgia for most things, but when people ask me what my favorite world in this game were, I always say Winnie the Pooh,
no!
the 100-Acre Wood. And that's just
we
because
can take him on our own.
When I hear that scene, it hits something in my heart, and it's just pure nostalgia. No matter what's happening, it just warms me. And so that is my favorite world in either of these games. I feel like what they were able to do aesthetically with these for the PS2 was amazing, because I used to look at it, it's beautiful. It's not extremely well, modeled or anything, or I shouldn't say that, it is extremely well modeled, it's just not terribly detailed compared to what we have now. But what they did was they focused so much on aesthetics, and you can really tell how much went into this game. Because of Kingdom Hearts 2, like I said, it's one of my favorite of all time. Sorry, it's one of my favorites of all time. And comparing it to Kingdom Hearts 1, it is such a big upgrade. The gameplay, in particular, is improved so much. It's leagues better than the first game. I'd say it's the peak of the series. The first game, it sort of very, I guess, clunky, for lack of a better term. It's not exactly slow, but it's all very weighty and it feels very heavy. Whereas in 2, he still got enough weight behind him, animation-wise, and just in the speed of things, where it feels like the hits are connecting, that he is damaging these things, but at the same time he's sped up considerably. So, in just the base combat, the same hitting thing, it feels way better. And in this one, the amount of options you have to deal with combat is so much more. You see this little drive thing over here, all these options down here. All of those, that's new for this one. Each one of those forms changes up how swords are interacting with the environment, with the enemy. And it makes it so there's never a dull moment in combat. And I think something they did in this one that even more so changes combat is how clean motion is now. Because in the first game, if you look at that little blue bar on the bottom right, bottom right, that was really, it was blocked in the first one, and they go around that green bar that you see on the bottom right. And every time you had this one square, or rectangle, of that blue, you'd be able to use Q. Now, it wouldn't kill you entirely, but it would kill you mostly. You'd be fine after using it just once. And you had that option pretty much all the time. So, you're always pretty safe in doing that. And I just played it, so I have a pretty good frame of mind to reference it. I know how they compare to the other at this point. So, in this one though, you can heal no matter how much of your health bar, magic bar you have. You could have the tiniest bit, and it'll heal you. And it'll heal you fully, but it takes your entire bar, and you have to wait for it to recharge. And what that does is it means you're always going to have one save. You can always save yourself unless you're in like critical mode, something one-shot you. But in most playthroughs, it's not going to be a problem. But once you've used it, you're completely vulnerable because you don't have any of your magic left. So your range attacks are completely gone. You can't fight from range, really. You have to all be physical attacks, so all your combat's going to be close and you're going to be at risk. And you have to wait at the clock for that bar to refill before you can heal yourself from that. So all the combat is always tense in this one. So that's really good. So even though you're way stronger in this, that one little change really makes the whole game feel a lot, just feel a lot better. And it's on top of other great changes. Oh wait, 1 second, guys. So, this part is just a little boss rush, and at the end of the game, where, so it'll be the last few deaths I had, I suppose. I'll probably run out of things to say by the time I actually get to the end, so maybe I'll end it with something like that. I believe, I don't know exactly what this guy is. You guys should look into it, considering it was one of my favorite games ever. But, I think it's a manifestation of Redness. Just because he's using all the weapons of the Organization 13, which might I say is a great set of villains. For any game, any that is really good. Because they fit right in this insaneness of the series. No, there's Redness. Yeah, there's him. So, all the organization members, they have no buddies. The kind of the enemy of this game based off of them, which it really does a great job of connecting everything you're doing somatically to the characters.
There's more to a heart than just anger or hate.
And
it's full of all kinds of feelings.
Here's some of that campy writing.
Don't you remember?
That you just have to love or hate. I love it.
Unfortunately, I don't.
Kingdom Hearts 2, I think, it's really good by itself. Well, if you take into account the thing before it, because it makes you feel bad for the villains, because all they're trying to do, well, as far as you know, is trying to get Kingdom Hearts to be full and kind of released so that they can feel emotions again. Right?
I had given in to the darkness.
Whereas
Riku,
it's later revealed that nobody can have a heart. So
like this?
It was just Xemnas manipulating and being a jerk. But they
Hurry!
At this point though,
I'll open a path.
it was it really made you feel for them a little bit.
You don't belong in the Dark Realm anymore, Riku.
I realize this looks insane to anyone who has not played the entire series. Even to those who have, it's insane. Maybe I should just go over the story of how this got made, because I really love it. Square Enix wanted to make a platforming game, but they didn't feel like they had a mascot.
But we better hurry and get through.
So they're thinking, in order to get a platforming game out from them, because they were mostly RPGs, role-playing games like Final Fantasy. They're like, we need someone like Mickey Mouse. And so some people on the team, they said, hey, why don't we just ask? Because Disney's video game department and Square Enix's in America, they're in the same building. So they went over.
See? We meet again.
And
like
they started talking.
Huh?
Oh.
You said we'd meet again.
I like this.
But when we did, we might not recognize each other.
So, yeah, they got to talking. And Disney was like, sure, we can collaborate.
Strange.
And they just kept going over it. And eventually, they decided Tetsuya Nomura, who I don't think he was too major of a guy at the company at the time.
I always thought
Like he was
novelties were
moderately
doomed
high up.
to fade
They
back
decided
into
he should head the
darkness.
project.
Yeah.
So he
But you
decided,
and I did it.
why don't we
got to
just
meet our
do
original
everything
selves.
together?
So
And so they have
we can be
Final
together
Fantasy
again.
franchise and
Right.
Disney franchises
Anytime Sora and Kyrie are
combined.
together.
And he wrote an original story
We'll be
for
together
him.
every day, right, Sora?
And
Yeah.
Nomura doesn't necessarily have the greatest grasp on plot, I would say. He's not the greatest writer, plot-wise, at all. But emotion-wise, he's really good with characters. So, especially since a lot of the fandom played it as their children,
Don't worry. You're all still you.
they get there's a real big emotional attachment to the franchise
Hey,
for a lot
let's
of
go
people,
home.
including me.
Riku, come on.
Yeah.
Where he just makes these lovable and hateable characters really, really well.
Sora, Riku!
So
What?
that, I guess that's why after all these years, and despite how long it's been out, that's another part of why I keep coming back to this franchise. I like everyone in it, because I think he kind of used the nostalgia people have for Disney and the love they have of all those characters to kind of jumpstart you on liking Sora and Roxas and Riku and Kairi. So he kind of leverages your childhood against you into liking these people. Though I think they're likable just as it is. So it also helps you ignore the stupidity of a lot of what's happening, I guess. Or the insanity, I should say. Because you're always rooted in what it means for the characters in it, even if the plot itself isn't making the most sense. So, yeah, whatever. I definitely covered most of what I wanted to in this kind of side thing for the report. I'm not necessarily the best at, live commentary. Oh, I remember this thing. This game also, I should say, another reason why this game is super, nostalgic for me is my best friend at the time partially introduced this to me. I got into the series initially because my cousin, her boyfriend at the time, I was young. I was like either 8 or maybe 9 at the oldest. Probably younger. I'd say probably 8 when I first played the game. Her boyfriend at the time came over to my house and he brought a CRTV television and Kingdom Hearts and a PS2. So he was he played Kingdom Hearts 2, and my young brain saw Darkside. He was playing the Destiny Island segment, the very beginning of the game. I saw Darkside, which is this big, scary, heartless guy, and I was like, whoa, that's so cool and edgy. And I saw the cover, which is beautiful, I must say. Kingdom Hearts 1 still is one of my favorite covers of any game. It's just gorgeous. And so I waited till my birthday, and I bought that. No, the first thing I bought. And I played through the game, and it was like, oh, it's got all my favorite Disney characters, because I've grown up with a lot of Disney. So I was just instantly hooked. I loved it. Even though, like I said, Kingdom Hearts 1 is a far inferior game to Kingdom Hearts 2. And Kingdom Hearts 2, I think I first saw it was my best friend at the time, Alex. I didn't even know it had come out. So I saw my friend Alex had it, and we played like the Lion King part. So I did not know that. And then I got to play it really the first time in California. And I was super confused at the beginning of the game, because you play as a character I'd never heard of. But I was super intrigued. I didn't quite get out of the Twilight Town segment, but which is the first one in Kingdom Hearts 2. So I was super intrigued. So the first thing I did when I got back from the vacation was we were at a Best Buy, and I saw it on the shelf, and I believe I harassed my mother until she got it for me. Oh shoot, I wanted to die. Dang it. Well, that's one. So, yeah. And so I got home, and I played it all night. And I got Sora back, and I was so happy. And I just fell in love ever since. I absolutely love that game. This game, it solidified my love of the franchise. And unfortunately, because the releases after 2, they weren't on the main console. They weren't on PS2 or PS3. They were on like the PlayStation Vita and the Nintendo DS. It was just off everywhere. So I couldn't play them all. I think one was a Japanese mobile game. So for years, all I had to go back and play were 1 and 2. And it wasn't until early this year that I found out they had collections, because the only real thing I was keeping up on for the series was Kingdom Hearts 3. So I've been excited and waiting for that game for 12 years now. And that's why I'm playing this one now. Because I want to, have everything fresh in my mind. So I found out they had those collections. I saw they were on sale and bought them. I spent $50, so now I can play the games on PS4. And I got to play Burst by Sleep and Dreams Without Distance, both of which were not as good as 2, but both have some really good strengths to them. I really like both of those games. And looking at 3, I'm very excited. Very excited. Because it looks like it's getting rid of the fat from Burst by Sleep and Dreams Without Distance, and it's just keeping the strong point of those games. So it's just looking really good. It's got the Kingdom Hearts 2 kind of loadout to it with the magic system. It's abandoning the super deck system from Verspec Sleeve, but it's keeping Keyblade forms, which means instead of like the dry forms I was showing earlier, where it's triggered by you kind of deciding, it's by what Keyblade you're using, so you're going to be able to switch Keyblades in battle. Which I think seems really good, because you'll have multiple forms of switching between, as you switch between the Keyblades, just in a fight. So, I'm looking forward to that. I think it'll be cool. I think it'll work well. Yes, yeah. I don't know, it just looks really good. 0.2 with the little prequel they had on the second collection. I really like that. It looks 3's improving upon that. A little less floaty. Way more options. It just looks really good. I think I'll end the stream and save the rest for the final reports. I'm just starting out this critical run. Thanks for keeping up with it. It's just fun to write about something that I really like and doing it in a way that partially kills it. I guess I should say the bosses. What's his name in particular? Jafar surprised me. Because the one that gave me trouble, I thought they were going to give me trouble. Except Jafar, I thought he would be messing. Jafar was so easy in every other run of this game. The crowd mode.
I wanted to thank Nominee.
I remembered him being easy.
I couldn't bring myself to say it.
Easy when I played it first time. Because he's so slow.
It was before.
And you would always have a chance to heal.
Don't worry. We'll
But in
make
this
that happen.
run,
Once this
he
is over, you
can
can thank her
one-shot
all
you
you want.
with most of his attacks. And he's got a big health bar. So when he's doing less damage, he's so easy. But in this run, he caught me so many times just with a swing of his arms or with a building that he was throwing to do the genie. So I was shocked, and he was probably the second angriest I typed in the whole playthrough. Other than, what's his name? Zaldin, the Beast Captain 2, Part 2 boss fight. Who, it wasn't even so much him, because I'm fine, you know, getting hurt by the boss, you know, or boss is supposed to challenge them. But it was a stupid, the Heartless based on him. They one-shot me. And it's just, what? So, I died probably 20 times in the run-up to him. Why can't I go limit for him? Thank you, Riku. So, yeah. He was surprisingly difficult. And I have to say, kind of shocked. I guess that's all for now. Well, I will see y'all in the next call. Bye. Oh. Sorry. Well, that was going smooth till the end there now, wasn't it? Well, I will... I'm still on air. Meh. Okay. Sorry, I don't broadcast much. I'm not much of a Let's Player. There it is. Stop broadcasting. Well, see y'all in the next call. And thanks for listening to me ramble. Bye.